extremat. The apocalypse has arrived. The temperature soared to 8,848 degrees. My boyfriend, Mao Bufan, in order to survive, pushed me directly outside. He monopolized all the resources in the house to stay alive, while I was left in that terrifying 8,848-degree heat. Instantly vaporized, dying with endless resentment, reborn into a new life. I will do whatever it takes. I set up a safe zone in a suburban villa, hoarded countless supplies, and prepared a golden pan and a golden spatula for self-defense. In this life, I will never let the tragedy repeat itself. When I opened my eyes, my mind was in chaos. My body still carried the excruciating pain of being roasted alive. Looking around, the house had its familiar layout. It had just rained lightly, and a gentle breeze blew outside the window. There was absolutely no sign of the heat apocalypse. My heart was beating violently. Still unsure of what was happening, I quickly ran to the kitchen faucet and gulped down several mouthfuls of water. Only then did my mood finally settle, until I saw the date on my phone. I was still in a daze, wondering if this was all just a long nightmare. According to the memories of my past life, in 10 minutes, my boyfriend Mao Bufan would call, urging me to pay the deposit for our marital home, right at mi phone rang. It was actually Mao Bufan calling. I'm already at the sales center. Where are you? I have truly been reborn. There's a problem with the bank. The money hasn't transferred yet. They said it takes half a month for approval. We'll have to go another day. I suppressed my resentment and anger, keeping my tone calm. Time is running out. The extreme heat is coming soon. In this life, I must be fully prepared. I can't let him entangle me and delay my progress. In my past life, after the apocalypse arrived, even when social order collapsed, I fought through my fear, using all my strength to protect him. Yet, he only greedily schemed to trade me for scarce supplies. The weather in June was only 26 degrees Celsius. Everyone said it would be a cool summer this year. Who could have guessed this was just the final calm before the apocalypse? I checked the balance in my bank card. The 7-figure savings I had worked hard for over 10 years, originally meant to buy our marital home. My eyes turned resolute. In this life, I must survive. The community I live in now has too many residents and is too complicated. During the apocalypse, human nature is the most terrifying thing. I have to find a safe sanctuary for myself. After searching rental websites and maps, I finally decided on a villa in the suburbs. I drove over and swiftly signed a 2-year lease. Die Villa. I saw it while fleeing in my previous life. Beneath its basement, it connects to a hidden air raid shelter. Unfortunately, back then, it had no supplies left. After the real estate agent left, I confirmed there was no one around. One immediately went to the entrance of the air raid shelter from my memory. My heart was pounding fiercely. I was afraid my memory was flawed, that I remembered the location wrong. Fortunately, fate favored me. I found the right place. I immediately went down to inspect the bunker. As soon as I stepped inside, my skin was hit by a wave of cold air, giving me goosebumps. I couldn't help but shiver. The perceived temperature here should be only around 10 degrees. Because it's built underground, there is a slight dampness. The total area is estimated to be around 800 to 900 square meters, more than enough for hoarding supplies and living internal infrastructure is quite complete. But the water and electricity systems are severely aged. It definitely wouldn't support heavy electricity and water usage. It has to be renovated. I hesitated a bit. Relying on my own abilities alone, I absolutely couldn't get it done in a very short time. But for this future sanctuary of mine, with every extra person who knows about it, the risk increases. It's a matter of life and death. I must be extremely cautious. I found a construction team located far away from the villa, almost diagonally across the entire city. I used the superpower of money to get them over. To finish the utility renovations within 2 days. Miss, this is a rush job. Why didn't you just find someone nearby? Calling us from so far away. The worker chatted with me while working. It's all my boss's idea. He heard from friends that you guys work fast and well. I'm just following orders. My boss plans to turn this place into an escape room. He's in a hurry to open next month. If you guys are interested, you can come play then. What escape room? We don't understand that. We just work to eat. Where would we find the time to play? I can only try my best to reduce the possibility of them coming here to cause trouble later. But it's still a hidden danger. I sighed secretly. While they were working, I found another agent and rented a small warehouse about 2 kilometers away from the villa. I also rented a light truck. I'm about to start buying things in bulk. I need to use this warehouse as a transit station and drive the goods to the villa myself. At the same time, I hired different construction teams, staggering their schedules to install solar panels, energy storage batteries, insulation boards, top-tier security doors, and modify explosion-proof windows. In the early days of the apocalypse, in my past life, Bufan and I were relatively safe, hiding at home. But one day, the temperature reached its limit, and the window glass couldn't withstand the extreme heat. With a bang, they exploded. It almost dealt us a devastating blow. We almost died in the rolling heat waves. And it caused us to lose our sanctuary, forcing us to start wandering. It really left a huge psychological trauma on me. Just as I thought of this, my phone rang again. It was Mao Bufan calling. Bu, where did you go? Why couldn't I find you at your house these past 2 days? I'm so worried about you. And the sales center is urging us on the other end of the phone. Mao Bufan's mother sounded hostile. She lowered her voice and asked if I was backing out of the marriage. She absolutely can't. We haven't gotten the money yet. It's hard to find someone as rich and easy to manipulate as her. I sneered silently. Don't worry, I'll explain clearly to the sales office. A friend just asked me out to play at the last minute. I'll be back in a couple of days. Rest assured. After playing along with a few more lies, Mao Bufan finally felt relieved. I opened the security camera in my old house and saw them finally leave shortly after. Yesterday the temperature was still only 26 degrees, but now it has reached 40 degrees. Although it's very hot, it's still considered a normal summer temperature. People on the streets are also discussing why it heated up so fast today. But everyone thinks this is just a normal summer heat, and nobody pays much attention to it. But I know the apocalypse is imminent. Gathering my thoughts, I grabbed my prepared shopping list and began my procurement journey. First is the most important, food, and ranked number 1 is water. Feeling me past life, the anising. Water resources are the top priority. In the late stages of the apocalypse, a bottle of water could sell for hundreds of thousands en des 21 ville. I ordered 3,000 20-litre water jugs. I didn't buy sugary drinks. Drinking things that are too sweet doesn't quench thirst, but actually makes you thirstier. Right now, the water supply hasn't been cut off yet. I ordered 50 ultra-large capacity water storage tanks. Before the apocalypse fully arrives, I will fill them all up for daily use. Next comes all kinds of food. Vacuum-sealed rice, noodles, and grains. Various dried noodles and rice noodles. Frozen mea. And 30,000 boxes each of prepackaged meals and instant noodles. As a big foodie, my cravings kicked in, and I stockpiled 10,000 Northeast Deben ice creams. Who could resist a refreshing ice cold Northeast Deben on a sweltering hot day? But frozen items come with risks. After all, they require freezers and refrigerators to store. Once there is a short-term power outage, they can easily spoil. Justine Caz. I bought more foods with a long shelf life, like bread, nuts, meat jerky, milk powder, and hardtack. Right now, I don't care about preservatives or additive. The longer the shelf life, the better. Of course, apocalypse essentials like self-heating meals are a must. Various self-heating hot pots, self-heating rice bowls, and longer-lasting canned meats. And canned box sauffage. For security reasons, I scattered all these orders across several mega supermarkets. They will all be delivered to the small warehouse, not far from my villa. By the time I finished buying all this, it was already 8 p.m. My back and waist were aching, but I didn't dare to rest for a moment. I hurried to drive home. I need to pack my luggage before Mao Bufan finds out. After packing, look at the home I had lived in for over 10 years. My nose tingled, and my eyes teared up slightly. Even though I have been reborn and prepared as best as I could, in the face of a natural disaster, no matter how much you prepare, who can guarantee absolute safety? After returning to the villa, I drove my pickup truck and started making trips, transporting the supplies from the warehouse. Working until midnight, I collapsed face first onto the bed in the villa and fell asleep in a second. Waking up the next day, I habitually checked the weather forecast. The temperature had already hit 53 degrees. The National Meteorological Bureau issued a red alert for high temperatures. The comment section was filled with netizens wailing, but mostly they were just complaining about the heat, asking why they couldn't get a day off to rest at home, and why there were no high temperature subsidies. Still, very few people took it seriously. This is too abnormal. My home is in the north, which is usually warm in winter and cool in summer, even when it gets hot in summer. The temperature rarely exceeds 45 degrees. This abnormal temperature only solidified my belief that the apocalypse is coming. After carrying supplies all day yesterday, my whole body was sore, but I didn't dare to rest at all. I went out again to continue today's shopping. According to my plan, today's main goal was daily necessities, medicines, and household appliances. Première wasted no team, and rushed to the pharmacy. I bought Waxian Genki liquid, cooling patches, anti-diarrhea pills, antibiotics, and some emergency first aid and hemostatic supplies. After buying that, while driving past a hardware store, an idea popped into my head, and I slammed on the brakes. I walked straight inside and bought a golden pan and a golden spatula. Human nature, in the apocalypse, cannot withstand the test. I believe that when the apocalypse hits, they will definitely protect my safety. After coming out, I ordered 5 air conditioners. The solar panels have already been installed. As long as the sun is shining, my air conditioners won't stop working. Just as I was about to head home, I inadvertently caught sight of a familiar figure by the road. It was Mao Bufan. He was holding a girl's hand. He used to say she was his blood-related cousin. Clearly, the two of them were acting intimately. The experiences of my past life flashed before my eyes again. I really wanted to take out my newly bought golden pan and smash them a few times. I desperately tried to calm myself down. If I hit them with the golden pan today, I'd be arrested and sent to jail tomorrow. And then I'd die miserably behind bars. Once the apocalypse arrives, there will be plenty of ways to get revenge. I ignored them. My stomach was growling with hunger. I randomly picked a food court to enjoy my last late-night meal outside. The AC inside was set to 16 degrees at maximum power. But the weather was simply too hot. In no time, I was still sweating profusely. It's so damn hot today. And our boss is so stingy. He doesn't even want to turn on the AC. I don't even want to leave the house. I just want to stay home with the AC on. The air conditioner is about to break from overworking. Everyone around was chatting, complaining about the extreme heat. Suddenly, the sound of electric static crackled, followed by a few explosive pops. Before I could even react, the crowd sitting behind me all rushed out in a panic. Immediately after, the AC stopped. The room instantly became as hot as a steamer. I quickly followed the crowd and ran outside. The temperature outside was even higher than inside. The sun beat down, making my skin sting. Occasionally, a few people were huddled in the shadows of buildings. Their lips cracked, lacking even the strength to speak. I drove my car toward the suburban villa. My mind was set on getting back to the air raid shelter quickly. That was the only safe zone. After driving for about 20 minutes, two people suddenly rushed out at the intersection ahead, blocking my car directly. It was Mao Bufan and his so-called cousin. They both looked completely miserable and disheveled. They didn't even have a single bottle of water in their hands. Bu, I finally found you. Mao Bufan's eyes were bloodshot. He took a step forward. Savues. We're going to die of heat out here. If we stay another half day, we definitely won't survive. The girl with him also leaned closer, her voice hoarse. Sister, I'm begging you. We haven't had a sip of water all day. Just give us a sip of water or let us hide from the heat somewhere. We'll do anything for you from now on. I stared at them coldly. I have nothing to do with you guys. Why should I take you in? Mao Bufan froze for a second, probably not expecting me to be so heartless. His tone instantly grew desperate. Damn it, Buyu, we dated for 3 years. You can't just leave us to die. I don't even want the money for the house anymore. I just need you to save us. I'll listen to whatever you say. Prieur. I recalled how in my past life, He pushed me out as bait and ran away with all our supplies. All I felt in my heart was a cold sneer. 3 years of relationship. Aren't you holding hands with your so-called cousin here? Mao Bufen's face immediately flushed red, then turned pale, stammering, unable to speak. Seeing that begging didn't work, the girl beside him suddenly changed her expression, reaching out to snatch my car keys. You have so much stuff. Share some with us. Why are you so selfish? You'll die sooner or later anyway. I took a step back, turned sideways, and dodged her. Mao Bufen realized I was being serious. Elle looked at me with distance and gritted his teeth. You'll regret this. The temperature outside is still rising. Guarding so much stuff by yourself. You'll be robbed eventually. I ignored him, turned around, and walked away. Behind me came the girls crying, and Mao Bufen's cursing. They got further and further away until they were drowned out by the chaotic noise in the heatwave. I don't regret it at all. Saving such selfish people would only bring trouble to myself. In the apocalypse, being soft-hearted means a dead end. Besides, Mao Bufen is a scumbag. He was so cruel to me in my past life. I'd love to watch him melt in this heat apocalypse. How could I possibly save him? Back at the villa, I closed the heavy blast door, cutting off the heatwave and noise outside. I headed straight for the underground bunker, because it's surrounded by insulation layers and situated deep underground. The temperature here is only around 10 degrees. It feels pleasantly cool, with a slight earthy smell. It's far more comfortable than outside. The supplies in the bunker are stacked neatly. Piles of bottled water are placed against the wall. Next to them are shelves full of pre-packaged meals. Frozen meat is stored in special low-temperature freezers. Self-heating hotpots, canned meats, and other durable foods are piled up like small mountains. The most eye-catching thing is the freezer against the wall. It's packed with 10,000 Northeast Deben ice creams. I took one out of the freezer. The icy sweetness instantly spread in my mouth, and the heat in my body completely dissipated. Over the next few days, the temperature got higher day by day. The weather forecast on my phone went from 70 degrees up to 75. Eventually, there was simply no signal anymore. Explosions could be heard outside from time to time. It should be gas pipelines or electrical wires igniting from the extreme heat. Occasionally, I could even hear screams from far away. The apocalyptic atmosphere was getting heavier every day. Besides checking supplies and equipment, I just organized things in the bunker, sorting out the medicines. At the same time, I repeatedly checked the status of the solar panels and the low-voltage electric grid, because I knew, sooner or later, someone would come knocking. Sure enough, one afternoon, the bunker's security monitor suddenly lit up. 3 men appeared on the screen. They were all workers from the construction team that renovated the villa. They were holding wooden sticks, pacing back and forth outside the gate, occasionally knocking the door with their sticks. There must be someone inside. When we were working here that day, she brought in several truckloads of goods. Now, it's so hot outside. This is the only place we can stay. Knock on the door and see if she doesn't open it. Webrit open. Such a big villa. There must be plenty of food and water inside. Another guy said that and reached out to bang on the gate. He yelled, "Is anyone inside?" Open the door, and spare some water. I stayed silent, watching their actions on the monitor. After waiting a few minutes and getting no response, they really picked up their sticks and started hitting the gate. I stared at the screen, waiting until the worker in front touched the gate's metal handle. I pressed the switch for the low-voltage electric grid. I saw that worker's whole body violently shake, like he was jolted away by something invisible. He fell to the ground groaning, his stick dropping to the side. The other two were startled and quickly backed away several steps, muttering curses. The main door is electrified. This woman is ruthless. She actually installed an electric grid. The worker on the ground recovered a bit, got up and rubbed his arm. This electricity doesn't look lethal, but it hurts like hell. Première snirade. Dealing with this kind of people, you definitely need to have a secret weapon. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. That worker didn't believe it, gathered his courage, and started trying to pry the lock again. As soon as he touched the keyhole, he was zapped and jumped up again. The other two were too scared to move. They hurried to pull him up. They discussed for a while, deciding to go elsewhere to see if they could find water. If we keep wasting time here, we won't last much longer. Then they ran off without looking back. I turned off the security monitor and continued eating my Northeast Daban ice cream. When I hired them before, I specifically chose the team furthest from the villa. And the lie about the escape room, because I feared they would target me. I didn't expect I still couldn't avoid it. Luckily, I installed the low-voltage electric grid. Otherwise, the outcome would definitely be unthinkable. The temperature kept rising. In just a few days, it broke 80 degrees. The exact temperature at which I was vaporized in my past life. The outside world was in complete chaos. On the monitor, I could see distant buildings smoking. Occasionally, a few people staggered by, soon collapsing on the roadside without moving. I remained perfectly safe in the bunker. The solar panels were generating power steadily. The ACS were running normally, and supplies were abundant. I could even use my golden pan to make fried yogurt. But on the morning of the 10th day, the bunker suddenly lost power. The air conditioning stopped, and the security screens went black. Just as I was about to bring out the backup outdoor energy battery, a knock came from the door. Mir sank. It never rains, but it pours. To think someone would show up at a time like this. I quickly connected the backup battery. But this battery's capacity is limited, and the voltage isn't high enough. It definitely wouldn't be enough to power the low-voltage electric grid. Without electricity, this final line of defense is gone. I immediately turned on the monitor screen. I saw two people wearing ordinary short sleeves, holding no weapons, standing outside the gate. They looked relatively calm. One of them shouted at the gate, "Is anyone inside?" "We are the rescue team. The whole city has activated the emergency protocol. A temporary shelter has been set up in the east side of the city. There are cooling facilities and plenty of supplies. Quickly open the door and come with us." I instantly grew suspicious. With such high temperatures, why wouldn't an official rescue team wear heat-resistant suits? And if the shelter is on the east side, so far away from the suburbs, how could they possibly make a special trip here to pick people up? I walked to the inside of the villa's gate and looked through the peephole. These two were, indeed, wearing normal clothes, their faces covered in sweat, pouring down like rain. It hadn't stopped for a moment. If you guys are official, why aren't you wearing protective suits? Where are your IDs? I shouted to the outside. The people outside paused for a second. There aren't enough protective suits to go around. They were all given to frontline workers. The IDs are in the car. Hurry up and open the door. If we delay, the roads will be even more dangerous. No need. I'm perfectly safe here. I'm not going with you. Seeing that I wasn't falling for it, the people outside instantly changed their tone. What's wrong with you? We're kindly trying to save you, and you're being ungrateful. It's over 80 degrees out here. If you stay here alone, something bad will eventually happen. Yeah, exactly. Don't be unappreciative. Open the door right now, or else we'll come in ourselves. The other person shouted. I ignored them. The two of them looked at each other, then took out crowbars from the bushes by the road and started prying the villa's gate. They indeed had bad intentions. The sound of prying echoed continuously, each strike feeling like a hammer to the chest. I stood firm against the corner of the wall. Although I was tense, I wasn't afraid at all. Heaven let me be reborn, so that I could escape the tragedy of my past life and survive properly. I have enough supplies. I have weapons to protect myself. And more importantly, the determination to live. I will absolutely not let anyone ruin all of this. The footsteps outside were getting closer, and the air inside the villa seemed to grow tense as well. In the apocalypse, survival is never a momentary thing, and I am already fully prepared for battle. No matter who comes, I will fight with all my might to defend this hard-earned sanctuary of survival.